Hi, I'm Jackie. I'm sorry about your hip, but I want you to get back to doing everything you love and moving freely in your life, particularly just walking freely, which we take for granted when we're young. But after hip surgery, obviously, if you don't look after yourself and do these exercises, you might end up with a limp and not walking freely. So I want you to not have a limp and be walking freely within 6 to 12 months. So if you're only at the 4 weeks after surgery, you can start these exercises around the 3 to 6 week mark, because I give you really, really gentle options. So start as soon as you can. As soon as you get the thumbs up from the doctor, start the exercises. It doesn't matter whether you've had posterior or anterior hip surgery. These exercises are fine, and I give you the easier options, and you're building up over time to the harder variations. So getting your full mobility back, dancing, moving freely, walking freely, feeling your best. Make sure you have a nice solid chair for some of the exercises. If you're in the first couple of months post hip surgery, you won't need the chair. If you've done more of the exercises, you'll be in the middle of the room if you're ready. Look at your alignment of your feet and try to pick up your toes and spread your toes, and try to have your feet parallel and the center of the kneecaps facing straight, hip bones, and then awareness up through your whole spine, feeling the weight in the right foot, left foot, right hip, left hip, and try to sort of lean from side to side, feeling into your bad hip side. But you've got to make your bad hip you're good. You're going to make both hips really good. You're going to be moving as freely as you've ever moved if you put the work in. So promise to your body, say, oh, you poor thing, I'm going to give you extra attention and make you stronger than ever. So standing equally in both feet. And then going for a little walk with just a conscious meditative walk, really aware of your equal weight in the right. So start off really, really slow. It's fine to have your walking frame to start with, but you don't want to end up with a limp. You want to end up back to walking freely and balanced walking. So obviously start off slow, meditative, and then over time you're building up to brisk walking with an even gait. So that's what I want you to get to, walking freely and evenly and without any problems in your hips. So we're starting off, if you're newer to the exercises and you're quite close to your surgery, then we're going to just go to heel raise and to toe raise, just rocking back and forth. This is also really good at stimulating blood flow, which is just so important for everybody. But as we get older, it becomes more important because the blood flow is getting a little bit more sluggish because the blood vessels are narrowing as we get older. And so that's why it's more important to stimulate blood flow. So heel raise, trying to keep that weight equal in the right and left. So not favouring your good leg side. And eventually you just can be in the middle of the room with your heel raise and your toe raise. Try to also put the weight down to the base of the big toe. Don't let your ankles splay out. So you're strengthening at your outer ankle. Okay, so building up to that in the middle of the room. So start with the chair or hands on the wall. Okay, next one is sits. So you'll start at the wall and then you just bend your knees a little bit and hold and then straighten out. So you build up and always trying to keep that weight equal on the right and left. So not favouring your strong side. And over time you'll build up to longer holds and getting back to your full range, slowly, 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 back to 90 degrees. So if you had that posterior surgery, you have to be very slow with this one, with getting back to the 90 degrees. So really slowly over time, building up your strength in this. And then when you've progressed a bit more, so you might be still doing this for a bit longer, holding till your muscles fatigue, and then have a little break. And then holding to your muscles fatigue, really slowly. But you'll end up doing a bit more, but no rush to this. You'll end up doing a few sit to stands. But that is one you don't want to rush into, especially if you're taller and the chair is lower, because you don't want to aggravate, you don't want to have setbacks. You want to get back to your full range, your full mobility, your full strength, slowly, but as quickly as you can. Okay, so that is something you're going to build up to. And some of you might not be ready for that yet. So no rushing to this one. But you do want to get back to, you can easily sit down and stand up with equal weight in the right and left side. Okay, so the next one is balancing and hip flexion. So you start off with the chair and you're just going to lift one leg up and lift the other leg up. Just doing that. So it's basically like walking upstairs. Actually walking upstairs is actually a good thing to build up to, but really slowly over time, doing some step ups. Okay, and then we'll do, so obviously you want to progress back to getting more, but don't rush into that one either with the posterior surgery. Don't rush into past 90 degree, can be very not be safe. So, but eventually you do want to get that full range back over time. Now we're doing balance on one leg. So you might need the chair and then bend and straighten the knee and squeeze the knee, the muscles above the knee. But eventually you want to do that in the middle of the room and then hold with a straight leg. And eventually you can get the leg a bit higher, no rush. Other leg, you might be starting with one hand on the chair and slowly over time building up to middle of the room and really squeeze the muscles above the knee straight. Working on balance and hip flexion. Good. Okay, so the next one is working up to, you're starting with the chair. So just a little lunge like that. Really, really gentle with the lunges, especially with the anterior surgery as well. So no aggravating, overstretching, slowly over time. Other leg, just a few little lunges. That's where you start with your lunges. But as you progress over the weeks, then you will start to slowly go a little, see how I'm going a little bit deeper into that lunge, and eventually don't force it, but eventually swapping, eventually you won't need the chair, you'll just be in the middle of the room and you're getting that full range back, that full mobility back. We'll do one more, just hold, you might still be at the chair, and that might be enough for you for now. Or you might be in the middle of the room, and if you want, you can raise the arms up a bit. And then swapping and holding your lunge wherever you're at, nice and safe, nice and gentle, no rush. But there's a little bit of a rush because you want to get back to your full doing everything you love in your life. Back to normal. Okay, good. Little rub around those muscles. Okay, this one's abduction. This is how you start. I have my back to you. So you just bend your knees and abduct. Abduct. Bend your knees, abduct. So try not to lean forward. So you're trying to keep it, so you keep your body straight, your shoulders down, and we're strengthening to our outer hip muscles, our glute medius and minimus, our abductors. Very important muscles to strengthen. And we'll also strengthen our glute maximus when we get down to our floor exercises. So nice strong glutes is what everybody wants, and it's important for your hips. So now we're going to just do one leg on its own. Eventually you can do these in the middle of the room. Eventually you won't need the chair, so you just be in the middle of the room. And then hold and balance. So you might build up to a bit more eventually over time. And the other side. And you want to get back to, you feel equal. You feel like you've got strength equally in both sides. So feeling your abductor muscles, but don't rush these exercises at the beginning because it's actually not going to help you. And then hold. You might have hands in the chair. You might be ready for a bit more weight, a bit more stress on your hip joints, but over time, getting back your full strength. Okay, good. So we're going to come down to the floor, slowly, safely. Get yourself down to lying on your back. So just slowly coming down, lying on your back. Lying on your back, and do a few point and flex. So when you first had your operation, just do lots and lots of this when you're lying in bed. Just get that blood moving. The older you get, the more you'll need it. Okay, so going to build up to hip flexion. So start off with just this much. We'll just do both sides. So that's where you start, just that much. But slowly over time, you start to do a bit more. But you need to be careful of bringing the knee past 90 degrees if you've had posterior surgery. So really slowly with that one, and then start with the straight leg. So you might just start, lift the foot up, a centimetre, but you eventually lift your foot up a foot, and then slowly lower. So you lift up your foot off the floor, hold, and then slowly lower. So you're feeling some muscles working in the front of the hips, so strengthening those muscles. And over time you'll get stronger, and you'll be able to hold for a bit longer, the foot off the floor. And if you're feeling one side is weaker, which that will be understandable, you could do extra on your weaker side. So maybe do 2 or 3, or a longer hold on your weaker side, and make your weaker side as strong as your other side. Make both sides equal as much as you can, as best as you can. Okay, good. We're going to come into side plank and with different options. So coming onto your side, and we'll start off with easier. Bend your knees. So we're going to strengthen into our outer hip, but also our core and our waist. So this is how you start. Bent knees, shoulders down, and you just lift your hips up, hold, and then slowly lowering down. So you try to build up to longer holds and more repetitions, just over time. Just feeling a few muscles. You're trying to lift your hips up, hold your shoulders down, hold your length through your neck, hold your top hip forward. It's quite good to get somebody to check your alignment, that you're not like that. So you're trying hips up, shoulders down, and top hip forward. So not like that, not collapsed. But over time, you'll hold for longer. Some of you might be ready for that. And you can straighten out the top leg. And then over time, you straighten out the bottom leg. And then over time, you have the bottom foot. If you keep working hard, you can be stronger than ever in these deep core and hip muscles as well, your glute medius and minimus. But don't rush that one because you probably strain your neck or your shoulder. So do the other side. So remember, some of you are still starting bent knees, and just lift your hips up, pause, and then lower down. So that's how you start. Just a really short hold, not too many repetitions. But over time, you hold for longer, and also you get longer holds, but you also do the harder variations like that. That's harder, that's harder. So you build up to the harder stuff with good alignment, shoulders down, top hip foot. So just don't try to keep up with me. Obviously, I haven't had a hip replacement, so I'm making it for lots of my students who actually have, or we're all heading, not all of us, but a lot of us might one day have to have a hip replacement. And you will need these exercises if you want to get back to your normal everyday life. Good, great. So the next one is hip extension. So be careful if you've had some anterior surgery, just slowly. So we're going to go into bridge. So if you don't know bridge, have a quick look. You can start off really gentle. And when I say posterior pelvic tilt, what I mean is you try to push your tailbone under or your pubic bone towards your breastbone. So you lengthen your lower back. So try to actively posteriorly tilt your pelvis, posterior pelvic tilt. And with this one also you build up to the longer holds and coming up with a little bit more range or a bit more lift. So over time, holding for a bit longer and a little bit more lift and strengthening up the back of the hips. Really squeeze your glutes. It's fine if you're just lifting an inch off the floor for now and you're not holding for very long, but maybe you're lifting up a foot off the floor or so, depending on the length of your legs. And you're holding for longer, so you're working your glute muscles a bit harder over time. Now we're going to give our hamstrings a little stretch, but if you have had that posterior surgery, then you don't want to come past 90 degrees. So you're going to have to just, if you have a strap or a towel, you can put it around your foot and maybe just go to there. So be careful of that one. Grabbing the back of the leg, try to straighten out the leg. Yeah, ideally you have a strap and you pull a little bit, but don't overstretch at the back of the leg. And then the other leg, but you should hold back on your more flexible side. So maybe you can do more on one side, and so don't do the full stretch on that flexible side. Actually hold back, maybe just do it on the stiff side even, or hold for longer on the stiffer side and make the stiffer side equal to the other side. We want to be as balanced as we can be, and it takes a lot of work, takes a lot of effort, but it's worth it because moving freely in your life, in your everyday life, is such a great joy. Feeling younger in your body is such a joy when you're older. Don't take it for granted. And this, what we're doing now, is very important, especially after exercise. So just resting. So just lying down and conscious rest. So it's different to just lying on the couch and watching TV or thinking about things. So trying to really focus on our body and just stimulate a relaxation response, and then the growth hormone comes up and you go into repair mode. So your cells start doing really good things in your bones, in your cartilage, in your joints, in your blood, in your brain. And we want that. I call it the anti-aging medicine, natural anti-aging medicine. So getting into the relaxed state, take some slow, deep breaths in and out through your nose. Even in this pose, look at your feet, try to have both feet the same, and try to feel the weight equal on both sides. There's one foot turning out more, try to have both feet turning out a little bit and the same. Feel the weight equal on the hips. If your neck feels arched, something under your head. Breathe down into your belly, a little bit deeper, a bit slower, in and out through the nose. Relax your face more. Heavy, steady eyeballs. If you slow down eyeball activity, it will slow down brainwave activity, which you'll get more of that relaxation response. Rest, digest, repair, heal, anti-aging medicine. Feel like your whole body's sinking down. If you feel like you need a bit longer, that would be great. Turn off your device and have a little bit longer resting. If you feel like that's enough for today, then just wriggle a little bit. And your body says, thank you. I say thank you for watching. And if you want some, my patrons who pay a tiny, 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 tiny bit of money a month, say that makes them do more. And also it makes them, also I give the bonus live class recordings. So they're saying it's been worthwhile because they're doing more and their body's feeling a huge benefit of it. So I hope you can become a patron, and thank you, and have a great day. And I hope your hip feels better. So go slowly with the exercises. If you feel like you're aggravated, just take a step back, go back to really gentle, but never stop working, and make your hip as good as it's ever been, hopefully.